Just 8 episodes of Season 2 of Bridgerton are definitely not enough to quench our thirst for the Regency drama. If you're looking for more, here's our breakdown of the biggest differences between the novel, The Viscount Who Loved Me, and the show's second season. Learn which characters and even which storylines don't exist in the book. Discover why showrunner Chris Van Dusen made notable changes while adapting the famous bee scene for the screen. And find out what exactly made Anthony realize his true feelings, according to Julia Quinn's writing. The non-existent characters. Not everything from the pages of Quinn's novels made it onto the screen. Many fans hoped to see the dashing Duke of Hastings again, but Rege-Jean Page opted not to return to the show. However, those who have read the books know that Simon only appeared marginally in The Viscount Who Loved Me anyway, so his absence barely impacted the plot. But some other characters were made more prominent instead. For example, in the source material, Lady Danbury was barely mentioned once, while on the show, she became a key figure in helping the Sharma sisters navigate the Tun, and someone else was created specifically for the show. Although the Bridgerton series is set during her reign, Her Majesty wasn't actually a character in the books. And as you might have guessed, the entire storyline of the quest to discover Lady Whistledown's identity was made up too, just like Eloise's encounter with the printing assistant Theo Sharp. Moreover, the book readers don't learn who Whistledown is until the 4th book in the series. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest changes between the books and the show. The background of the sisters. In the book, Kate and Edwina are not the Sharmas, but the Sheffields. On the show, they are of South Asian descent and traveled to London all the way from India. Executive producer Shonda Rhimes explained how she came to this decision. "I wanted to feel like the world we're living in was as three-dimensional as possible," she shared. And in fact, this move isn't historically inaccurate. There were many Anglo-Indian aristocrats during the Regency period. Julia Quinn, who was a creative consultant on the show, wholeheartedly approved of the new name. "I love the changes that they made," she revealed. "Simone Ashley is perfect as Kate." Still, the Sheffield name did appear in the show. In the TV version, Kate and Edwina's mother was born into the Sheffield family, but she was disowned by her parents when she married an ordinary clerk and ran off to India. However, they agreed to cover Edwina's dowry if she married a titled Englishman. This plot doesn't exist in the books at all, and there's no secret reason why Kate wants Edwina to marry Anthony. Want to know what else was changed? How Kate and Anthony met. The ruined wedding. Sadly, in the books, Viscount Bridgerton and Kate Sharma didn't meet during a romantic ride in the park. Kate already knew of Anthony by reputation, but not because she overheard his coarse conversation with other gentlemen. She learned it from Lady Whistledown's column instead, where he was described as a rake, with a capital R, of course. As for Anthony's intentions to marry without love, the reason is the same in both the novel and the TV show. However, in the books, it's much darker. The Viscount is convinced he'll actually die by the time he turns 38, the age his father was when he was fatally stung by a bee. That's why he's not looking for a love match and courts Edwina instead of Kate. Still, in the Netflix version, things get a lot more dramatic. On screen, Edwina truly develops feelings for Anthony, but calls off the wedding at the altar. Although it's one of the biggest moments in Season 2, in the novel, the two don't go that far, and we are about to tell you why. The bee misunderstanding. Anthony and Kate's slow-burning romance develops beautifully in the series, and one of the most thrilling moments is their conversation in the garden, where Kate gets stung by a bee. Anthony panics, flashing back to when he watched his father die. However, Kate reassures him there's nothing to worry about. She puts his hand on her heart, so he can feel that she's fine. They nearly kiss, but freak out and leave without anyone seeing them. In the books, this scene ends very differently. Anthony, fearful that Kate will face the same fate as his father, hurries to remove the venom. He wouldn't be a gentleman if he let a young woman die without trying to save her, right? The problem is, she was stung right above her bodice. Moments later, their mothers and Lady Featherington spot Kate and Anthony in what appears to be a compromising position. To protect Kate's reputation, Viscount Bridgerton agrees on the spot to marry her. This is one of the most famous and wonderfully bonkers scenes in the entire Bridgerton series. Alas, it didn't make it to the TV adaptation, probably because it was too close to Daphne and Simon's storyline. As if to make up for the absence of this notable moment, the show's writers created the steamiest scene of the second season. But before we get to it, let's find out whose storylines were also altered. A surprise reappearance. One of the main characters in the previous season of Bridgerton, Marina Thompson, made a return in the second series as well. She is Maria Crane now, and her meeting with Colin is bittersweet. Although she states that she's content with her life, neither Colin nor the viewers seem to believe her. That goes well with the fate that awaits her, which we learn from the novels. In the book series, Marina is never seen on the page. She's only talked about in the 5th book of the series, where she is mentioned as the late wife of Sir Philip Crane and a distant cousin to the Bridgertons. Yes, you heard that right. Marina wasn't meant to be a cousin of the Featheringtons. And that wasn't the only time that this family was granted new relatives on the show. In the books, Lady Featherington is already a widow when we meet her for the first time. Yet in the show, Lord Featherington only dies at the end of the first season. This adds a large part to the plot of Season 2, namely, the appearance of the new Lord Featherington, also known as Cousin Jack. Don't get us wrong, it's a great storyline. It shows Lady Featherington as a devoted mother with a strong personality. Hopefully, the next season will bring us more surprises from her and her daughters. Now, let's get back to the main couple of the season. The hottest night. Anthony and Kate definitely gravitate towards each other throughout Bridgerton Season 2. They don't actually act on their feelings until after Edwina breaks off her engagement to the Viscount. In Quinn's pages, however, the two share their first kiss somewhere in the first third of the book. Despite that, Kate explicitly grants Anthony permission to court her sister. By then, she's already changed her mind that he's a hopeless rake. And even though Kate wants Lord Bridgerton for herself, she has no idea that he feels the same about her. So, she makes a selfless decision and allows Anthony to ask for Edwina's hand in marriage. As you already know, it didn't happen because of the bee accident. Yet, here the television version takes some liberties again. In the show, Anthony and Kate share a passionate night outside. However, in the novel, they don't get intimate until their wedding. And even then, Anthony struggles to acknowledge his feelings towards his now wife. Let's find out what makes him realize his true feelings and how it's reflected on screen. The heartbreaking accident. The day after she and Anthony give in to temptation and sleep together, Kate is in a horseback riding accident. Anthony finds her unconscious and rushes her to a doctor. Racked with guilt and thinking he's the reason she's injured, Viscount Bridgerton can't bring himself to visit her. In the book, however, Kate's life is put in jeopardy only after they are married. Her leg is injured in a carriage crash, and she needs emergency surgery. And although before the accident, Anthony tries to suppress his feelings for his wife, now he discovers that his emotions are too strong to ignore. He tends to Kate as she heals, and finally professes his love to her. That was the last obstacle they had to living happily ever after. But there are more interesting details that didn't make it on screen, like Kate's crippling fear of thunderstorms. On the show, she shares with Anthony that she finds storms unsettling. Kate tells him how her father used to read to her to comfort her during monsoons. However, she does not struggle with the storms to the extent that she does in the book. In The Viscount Who Loved Me, after Kate and Anthony marry, she suffers from night terrors. They are revealed to be caused by the death of Kate's mother, who died during a terrible storm. Anthony comforts her, and that's when Kate realizes she loves him with every piece of her being. And finally, here's the last thing we can't help mentioning when it comes to the differences between the Bridgerton novels and the show. The missing wedding. Anthony and Kate's wedding isn't shown on the series. However, Julia Quinn writes about the nuptials in her book. Given the less than proper circumstances surrounding their engagement, the couple agree to a quick marriage as the best way to avoid scandal. The couple exchange vows in a small private affair in the Bridgerton drawing room, with both families present as witnesses. On screen, Edwina's relationship with her sister was deeply damaged after she found out about Kate's secret feelings for Anthony. Understandably, she felt blindsided by both her sister and her fiancé. But in the book, Edwina's reaction is completely different. She's actually thrilled and overjoyed by her sister's engagement to the Viscount. Moreover, she's not even one tiny bit surprised, despite Anthony publicly courting her. That is because Edwina is in love with another suitor who doesn't appear on the show. His name is Mr. Bagwell, and he's an archaeologist at Oxford. Relieved that she doesn't have to marry for wealth, Edwina opens up about her feelings to the Viscount and Viscountess Bridgerton. The duo approves of her choice, and Anthony even provides a dowry for his sister-in-law. And while on the show, the last we see of Kate and Anthony is on the Pall Mall field, The book tells us the rest of their story. In the epilogue, the Bridgertons gather to celebrate Anthony's 39th birthday. He and Kate are proud parents to 3 children, and Edwina is now Mrs. Bagwell. However, we at OSSA are more interested in another possible storyline for the future season. As you no doubt remember, Queen Charlotte mentions to Edwina in the last episode that her nephew, a prince, is single. Should we expect a royal romance in Season 3 of Bridgerton? Let us know what you think about it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, we have plenty more about Bridgerton and its cast for you to watch. And stay awesome!